I use this person and this background to create a simple composite. What if I told you that you can take this background to the next level and do something special that I will show you later in a video? First, let's put this model on this background and match them together to make a better fit. First thing that I'm noticing right by looking at the image is that the background has less contrast than a model. So background looks a little bit more washed out than a model. There are several ways how we can fix that. One way is just using levels, and just by using levels you can see that blacks are not starting from the beginning. Actually they are, but just a small portion of the blacks. But basically if we move this slider here, you can see that now this is not so washed out and it's a little bit better fit. Also we can open the midtones right here, and this is before, this is after. This is one way how we can do it. Another way that I prefer to is to go to filter, also see that background is smart objects. So if it's not, just right click and convert to smart object. This is really important because now we'll go to filter, camera filter, and here I will do the same. I will go with the blacks to the left. And how much I can do it? Well, there's really cool trick. See this right here, this arrow? If I click it, everything that becomes blue means that I'm losing information there. The colors are clipped, so I'm losing information about the colors and brightness in this part. So I don't want that. I want just before that something like this. Okay, here is pretty good. And I can open the shadows a little bit. So blacks, shadows. And if I press P on the keyboard, before and after, see, now it's washed out, now it's not. I can press OK, and this is it. This is really, really cool. Another thing that we need to do is by matching the contrast, that's great, but now we need to match the color. So either we can match the color on the model, or to match actually model to the background or background to the color. There is one really great way to match the colors. There are plenty of ways, but one really great way that if you're up to it, you can check this video right here and learn that technique. It's amazing if you don't want to do it just by eyeballing it, but just by feeling. If you want to do it like precisely, check out this method, is amazing. Okay, so now I will do it just by a feel, and I will go with the color balance that I will clip to affect only the model right here, and I will go to add a little bit more cyan to the model, like that. A little bit more green and a little bit more blue. So maybe a bit more blue. So let's see, before and after. Come on, after, before and after. We cool down the model a bit because the background is also a little bit cool around this place. So that's great. Also what I like to do with the background is to go to filter and go to blur and to Gaussian blur. And I just want to blur the background, like to make it more like there is a depth of field, maybe 18, let's see. Looks pretty decent. So like the model is shot with shallow depth of field, and we have something like this. I really like this way. It's personal preference, I like it. And now, really important thing is to match the lights between the background and the model. There are several ways how you can do that. I will show one really easy, really cool way. As you can see, we have these lights right here at the back of the model, and these lights will make really cool rim light around the model. And we can assume that these lights continue in the front of the model too, but we don't know that, and we can do whatever we want. So I can assume that there are lights in the front of model, but further away, because the model is now currently on the intersection of two streets, and the lights are across the street, so they're further away, and the model front of the model will be more dimmed, so it will be darker. And let's go and create really cool effect by adding exposure, clip it to affect only model, and we can make the model darker like this, as you can see. And this depends on our preference. We can make it really dark, like silhouette, or less dark. So for now, let's leave it like that, and let me show you how to create a rim light. One popular way is to go and just with a brush go around and just make rim light and so on and so forth. But that's a bit time consuming, and I will show you one really cool and fast way to do it. Control and click on the model to load the selection. Then go to this exposure, control and backspace. Actually in this we need to press Alt or Option and backspace to load the black as a mask. Control Command D to deselect, and now we need to invert this, Control or Command I. And here we can go again, make it manually, but we don't want that. The trick is to go to filter, other, minimum. And you can notice that we can narrow the selection like this really easily, and it doesn't look as good as it will be, but it's pretty nice. And you need to choose the radius. I will go with maybe 21, press OK, and then double click on the mask and just feather this. And feather as much as you like to blend this really cool, and see how really nice rim light we are getting around the model. It's really simple and easy. And we can take this to another level by creating curves adjustment layer, for example, clip it to effect only this, and brighten it up, Alt or Option, and just drag the mask and invert it, Control or Command I, and now we have this for rim. This will control rim light, this will control the exposure. So with this, I will control the brightness of the rim light. I can also control the color of the rim light, so maybe a little bit more red. So see, really cool. Or less red, maybe yellow, green, etc. So a lot of options here. But with this, I'm controlling the brightness of rim light. With this, I'm controlling the darkness of the model. Amazing way, simple control, ultimate control, if we can say like that. And now what we can do is to merge everything together, Shift Control Alt E or Shift Command Option E on a Mac, go to filter, camera filter, and just play here with final color grading. Do whatever you want, however you want. And this is it. This is before, this is after. Really cool results. So again, before and after, I really like it. And this is a simple composite. This is really cool way how to add a model to the background, change the lights, change the colors, and just blend it really nicely together. But now, if you want to take it to completely another level, I will show you one really cool trick just by changing a few things on the background and doing something that is really cool. You will take this to completely another level and also tell a story. Now something is happening, we don't know, but we will make a story out of it. But before we do that, let me first mention the sponsor for today's video. This video is sponsored by Envato Elements. Envato Elements is an amazing website where you can find millions of stock photos, stock videos, audio files, sound effects, amazing library of 3D models, which is my favorite part, and you can rotate them and position them however you want in order to get proper orientation and position for your composite. All the content there is licensed and you have unlimited downloads with your subscription plan. And also Envato Elements is pretty affordable. The annual plan is just $16.5 per month. So you can try it out, follow the link down there in the description and enjoy the content there. But did you know that they also have a YouTube channel, Envato.plus, where you can find full-length courses in Premiere Pro, InDesign, After Effects, Photoshop, and plenty other topics, and it's completely free. I will leave the link down there in the description. And also, I'm happy to announce that I will be giving away 1 full year membership on the Envato Elements. All you need to do is to comment below this video why would you like to have the subscription there, and I will choose one random lucky winner. Right now, let's go back to the video. Okay, so now let me show you a really cool trick. First, I want to get rid of this final file because I don't need it. And now let's add simple elements to the photo. So let me show you this. Let's drag this. We have some really cool rocks. So we have some meteors, some rocks, whatever. They're really cool, flying around. Already, just with this, photo looks much better. By the way, you can download the PNG file of these rocks if you want to use it for something. Down there in the description is the link. And also we need to match the rocks a little bit better with the background. So I will go again with color balance, clip it to affect only the rocks, and just add a little bit more warmth here. And maybe the shadows a bit, redness, maybe just 1, and just like that. Let me see. 2, and highlights. Let's see about highlights. Maybe a bit like that. Okay, another cool trick and another really important thing is we need to desaturate colors in the background a little bit if we want to emphasize the model even more. So now they're pretty much similar. Yeah, the model is saturated, but these blue parts are too much. So what we can do, either go back to camera filter and press OK and do it here, or use separate layer and do it back in the Photoshop, whatever you want. So let me show you here. Actually, if we go to color mixer, we can go to blues and not hue, but saturation, and just desaturate the blues a little bit, and also go to basic and desaturate the overall image like that. Okay, let's press OK and see, now the model stands out even more. So before and after, before and after, see, it's a big difference. Now we have impression that the model is more important. One thing. Now what we can do here even better to make the photo even more interesting is to use some really cool things like this. For example, we have another element from Envato elements, and that's this really cool school bus. And I'm going to rotate it like that, put it something like here, make it bigger, place it right there, and voila. Of course, now we have a problem. This is too sharp and too colorful and different lights, so we need to solve this problem. But before that, I just want to add a few other elements. So for example, this one right here, really cool truck that I want to put it somewhere here. Why not? Just a little bit from the ground. Okay, and I just want another one, so let me just find this one. Okay, we have this really cool car that I will put a little bit more back in the back, and also let's see, something like this. Why not? It's really high up there. Maybe it can be here too, but I like to put it right there. Why not? And now, as I already said, we have an issue. This looks okay, but it's not even close. So what we need to do is to go and either group everything into one layer, Control Command G, into one actually group, and name this vehicles or truck or whatever, vehicles, V for vehicles. Okay, and add exposure adjustment layer to all of these, make them darker. Okay, more than I wanted, something like that. And I want to invert this and just do a simple, cool painting where I want the light to be or dark to be. So basically, we want the bottom part here of this to be darker, especially this part right there, and also this part right here. I like to make everything even darker. Okay, and I will fast forward this part because it's a bit tedious and boring process. What I'm doing, I'm manually painting back highlights, so this and this will be brighter from this lantern here, and everything that I think it should be brighter, I will make it brighter. Okay, as you can see right here, and I will come back really soon, just after making this as it should be. Okay, so you can see I made them darker. Now I need to make a few things brighter, so I can also use exposure or curves or whatever, and I will make this brighter, Control Command I, and I will do exactly the same thing. So here, as you can see, let's go back. I want to use this to make like highlights on certain places, like here and there. And again, I will just fast forward this a bit and come in a moment. Okay, that's cool. Now let me show you what else we will do here. We will blur the elements. So let's go to the school bus filter, blur, and first I want to go with the Gaussian blur. We need to blur it a bit, maybe 15, let's see. Pretty nice. Then go to filter blur and go to motion blur. And with the motion blur, I just want to go up and down 90 degrees and like to make impression that it's actually going up. It's lifted. That's cool. And also we want to blur these two layers, so just feather them a little bit. Okay, and also the curves here. I want to feather because I'm blurring the bus. I need to practically blur the layers here. If I hold Alt or Option key, you can see these are blurred. So go back here. I will do the same for other two vehicles. So I can hold Alt or Option key and just drag and drop these. And if I want to change the blur amount on any of these, I can go, for example, Gaussian blur, it's too much, maybe 12 on this truck. Perfect. And I will go the same for the car up there. That's cool. But also I can go with the motion blur and maybe add it even more. Why not? Let's play with this. And also I can separately go and say, right, maybe I want this car to be more bluish because it's more up in the sky. See, it's better fit. And also these two, I can play with them too. So maybe this one can be more warmer. So just by adding these hue and color balance adjustment layers, maybe like that, and maybe highlights a little bit warmer. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let me see if I zoom it. If it's too much, I can lower the opacity. So really simple and easy. And also what I would like to do here is to go to the bus. Where is it? It's right here. I want to add a little bit more contrast with the curves adjustment layer. Just a little bit more contrast there. Okay. And I like that is less saturated. Maybe it's too low saturation, so we can go with hue saturation or vibrance and just boost it a bit, but just a bit. So something like that. And also the meteor rocks, they are great, but I want to play with them too. So filter, blur, motion blur, and let's lift them like that. This is perfect. Let's see the amount. This is too much. Like just to have impression that they're actually in motion. And I really, really like this, guys. And the beauty of all of this is now you can change every single element separately. You can play with brightness and contrast and highlights and whatever, and everything is non-destructive. You can make different values of blur, etc. on these models. So whatever, you can really easily do it by changing the here in the vehicle group, by changing these settings right there. Really simple and easy. And let's say that we are happy with the result. Let's say that maybe we want to add something else. Maybe we want to add a smoke. Why not? Let's add a smoke or debris. Let's add a debris. I have really cool smoke and debris brushes that you can get it on my website. You can check it out. So maybe I want to sample this color right here, make a brush bigger and just maybe a bit darker just to have more contrast. So let's go with this, and here you can see, and I can go right click, maybe it's too much, but I will go right click, convert to smart object, filter, blur, motion blur, and motion blur this, like lift this too. So that's cool. I really love it. Also I can experiment and just stretch this a bit. Everything is allowed. And also we can add a little bit of the smoke. So let's add another layer, not like this, but layer below. We can name it smoke. And here, what we can do, I can use my Cloud Dust Smoke brush that you can again download from my website. get it there if you want. The link is down there in the description. Just add a bit of an atmosphere here. Just a bit. And I want to blur this. And also we can sample different color and just make a little bit more warmer tones here. Why not? So let's go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and blur it a little bit. Okay, and also just as for fun, we can go with another layer and go with the smoke in front of the model, in front of everything here. Just a little bit details. We don't need to do it, but see, just a little bit craziness here and there. We can lower the opacity, Control Command T, lower this down by holding Shift. So everything is allowed here. I really like this, and also I can lower the amount of smoke in the back a bit. Something like that. And now let's do a final color gradient I really like. So Shift Control Alt T or Shift Command Option E on a Mac, merge everything into one layer, right click, convert to Smart Object, and I will go to Filter, Camera Filter, and let's do a final color grading here really quickly. So a little bit contrast, open shadows a little bit. We will go a little bit towards the warm tones, a little bit of clarity and texture. We're clipping the blacks a little bit, not too much. So let's go with the effects. I want to add vignetting a bit. Also, let's go to color grading towards the blacks. I want blacks to have more warmer tone like that. Highlights, maybe a little bit cooler tone. Let's see, a little bit cooler tone, and also maybe a little bit brighter highlights. And midtones, we can leave it where they are. So practically this is cool, just a touch. And also we can go to calibration and to do what I did before. A bit of this. And also we can go to color grading and actually color mixer and go to saturation. Let's see, just this a little bit, not too much, and I really like this. And this is our final result. So you can see how you can easily match model with the background using simple and easy methods to quickly add a rim light, change the colors, match the colors, and create simple composite. But then just by adding few elements like rocks and trucks up in the air, you can take this image to completely another level and also tell a story with this and make it even more interesting, more punchy. And that's the point of this video. I hope that you like it and that you learn something cool out of it. And also make sure to comment down below why would you like a full year subscription of Envato Elements completely free, and I will choose one random winner. See you next week in next one episode. Bye bye.